like in any other country, there exists a disparity between what is taught in universities and skills demanded by the job market, which usually leads to the mismatch between what the employers expect from the graduating people from these universities. Well, on today's episode, I'm confident that we shall have some of the answers to what causes these situations and what can be done better.
But are our universities really giving us enough knowledge we expect when you go into these schools as we are looking for those jobs? Or even, are they giving us only the book knowledge or hands-on, when all those things are going to be answered in today's episode as we explore and get to understand the university curriculum with our demanding industry?
So the topic of discussion today is aligning university curricula with industry demands in Uganda. As a university student, the course I'm pursuing expired in 2010 when I was in P4. And right now I'm in third year, holidays joining second semester. And it's really very sad, so we are here to discuss and digest and see the way forward for those who are going to be viewing. That is the employers in the industries and the teachers and classes plus the government. Keep it locked.
We have a challenge where there is no relationship between the Ministry of Education and also the National Youth Council, which we expect them to be doing industry research and collaboration that can help us mitigate such challenges of invalid courses and all that is happening in Uganda today. Well, today I have the former Minister of Education at Macquarie University Business School, and now, a lecturer at the same time in the Department of Procurement and Supply Chain Management, Mr. Ayeva Lambert, with us today. You're most welcome. And at the same time, we have Luke, who is also, of course, a lawyer at Navasa and Co. And we believe that he's going to also give us deeper insights on how students can defend themselves and use the law framework to actually upskill and upgrade their communications with the curriculum. Well, I believe that today will be an exciting episode for you. You don't have to stretch or anything. Just keep focused on the TV. Well, Mr. Evaluant, you are very much welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clinton. I'm happy to see you once again. To the viewers, good morning. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, friends. Good morning, good citizens. My name, as they have said, I am Lambert Ayebare, a very, very, very passionate human being in academia. That's what I chose to do. And I'm very excited to be here to discuss things in line with academics.
Luke, you must talk.
Thank you, Mr. Clinton. As introduced, my name is Luke Kamoga, a qualified lawyer, currently working with Nabas and Company Advocates. I may have had my academic journey within the contested period of expired and invalid courses, but I mean, it's a good opportunity being here at Smart 24 TV. And I wish our viewers a fruitful and great discussion.
I'm already wanting to ask, these these gentlemen here look so young, yet they have achieved so much. Like, how did you become lecturer? And through LDC and all the 4 years of school, so first tell us, how have you gotten there that fast? I'm starting with Mr. Ayevar.
Mr. Ayevar Lambert, you have said a very interesting thing. To the viewers, if someone asks you how, it's a very, very, very big question. Since I'm a lecturer, let me first tell you, don't ask how, ask why. Why did I choose to be a lecturer?
But how fast did you get there?
Exactly.
Did it take some time?
It didn't take a lot of time because it's up to the decisions we make. If you make the best decision for yourself, trust me, you will achieve in a microsecond. I entered university knowing I want to stay in the university. As he was introducing me, he told you I was an education minister, meaning I had already stepped in the line. Now, not only did I become an education minister, I still stayed focused because I didn't want to ask for a job. I wanted a job to look for me. So to the viewers outside there and to the people who know me, they know me, I will eat the book until the cover is off. So I ate the book. I was the best student. I was an education minister. All the cards were playing into my favor.
To cut you short, Mr. Lambert, but as you mentioned, you have been eating books and other students have also been doing the same for quite a number of time. And now we have students who are actually facing challenges like what they are now quoting as expired courses. But then now, after consultations, these are no longer expired courses, but should be termed as invalid courses. Now, Mr. Lambert, so many students have been going through the same journey you have been going through, 3 years, 4 years at university. They feel demotivated, they feel discouraged. What do you have to say about that?
They should not feel discouraged because you don't have a reason to fight something that you are not in the reach. What they need to know is that everything that happens because someone somewhere failed to do their part. Okay? So as a student, it is so unfortunate that they are at the receiving end of the unfortunate incident. Okay? So their role is to do what we are doing because I am still a student even when I am a lecturer because, it's a journey. It's a study journey. Maybe the master's, the PhD I will study or I'm studying is actually expired. So you ask me a question, what should they do? They should watch the space. And they should do the little that is in their power to actually advocate for the rightful thing to be done. That's why this show is there. Yes. Maybe tomorrow, do not request me as a lecturer to come. Maybe call the students to be here. Thank you.
Away from the discouraged students, Mr. Luke, how did you get here at this real quick?
Yes, thank you, Samali. Maybe that's an interesting question, and I've had challenges with my clientele. Mr. Clinton said something that maybe my reputation precedes me. You shouldn't be asking about maybe my demeanor and my facial expression. I don't get old. Maybe that, but I'm a qualified and I'm a competent lawyer. And I haven't had any challenges, whereas I may have started during that era you're terming as an era of chaotic, expired, invalid courses. My reputational and professional milieu does not actually reflect that. So what we should be asking, maybe I haven't had a lapse or a time gap within my academic study, and whereas I'm a lawyer, I'm still pursuing my further studies. Masters, whatever you may call it. Education system may not really kick you out as long as you wish to stay in it. As responsible citizens and professionals, we have a mandate to make sure that whatever is happening, us in the job market, we have to keep relevant. And we have to ensure that whatever we are doing is actually viable economically, socially, and education-wise. And we also have to make sure that there is appropriateness in whatever is going on in these education institutions and even in the profession itself. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, the job market is going to interact with the graduates, okay? So it goes beyond me, my age or my demeanor as Luke. It goes beyond competence, appropriateness, and viability of whatever is taught and the remunerates of whatever is taught. And these are the students. So let's look at professional competence. Let's look at appropriateness of whatever is being done in the economy and whatever is being taught in the universities. And then we shall get the gist and the core of whatever challenge is actually faced by the education system and even the business sector, because those are going now to drive our economy to wherever the policy implementers and even the educationalists, researchers, and even employers want our economy to be.
You mentioned about policy implementers. Brenia, we have had a challenge where universities do not periodically review the curriculum. And this should be done because all this started with a certain university in the diaspora saying that, you know what, we cannot offer people jobs here because their courses are invalid. Now, don't you think that the universities in Uganda today should be doing a certain review, to keep up with the emerging trends of what is happening in the industries, to keep up, updating the curriculum? Why is that not happening, Bonnie?
And also additionally, before I think any of our guests maybe needs to answer, I would love to add in that, like, take for instance, in today's job market, most jobs expect like the people applying to have a certain, like a certain period of time for you to have the experience. You understand? I'm fresh from campus. I'm looking for a job. I've not been anywhere, and the job I'm applying for needs like a 3-year experience. Do you guys feel like our schools, our universities have done so much that these graduates are maybe given enough knowledge and skills out there to compete with these other guys that have the experience? So they're applying for this job.
Before they answer that, when you're starting a course, a lecturer will tell you, your course has jobs. That course is the best. Surprisingly, you are more than 100 students in class. I was graduating in Feb, and we're around 13,000 graduates from my career. So I sit in that tent, I look at everyone, I'm like, you guys, what next? Before the saga of expired courses coming in, the country had the problem of unemployment before we have this, for a longer time. But then you got to, these guys are also making their own money, the lecturers. Tagana kugamba, your course you're doing is not going to bring you a job. Pretty sure he knows it's not going to bring you a job, but man has to tell you, you know what, it's going to bring you the job. You're like 100 students. So me, the lecturer question I have mainly is, you guys know these courses you're teaching people actually don't have jobs. Like human resource. Have you ever found a human resource manager who is above 30 years, who is below 30 years? Those guys are always old. Accountants, they have to, the kids will have to go and do CPA, blah, blah, blah. You're still spending money on yourself. The lecturer knows the curriculum is funny. He's teaching funny things, but he's going to teach them because it's his job.
As a meme lady, I want to still add, there's like a thing there's like a poster somewhere, and they're like, we need one accountant, and the age, like the experience should be 20 years. Now imagine someone has left school and they're 22. Another thing was, but these things of diaspora, we have a planned kid. But I think, before we actually talk about the jobs, I think jobs or career or whatever happens because we have to solve a problem. I don't know to solve a problem in society, to make life easy. I don't know what you guys think about it, but straight to you, and I hope you've recorded whatever we've asked.
To whatever you have said, it started from Clinton, Ronia to I picked two things. There are two questions in your case. You made your case very clear. One, Clinton is querying on why a course is expired, why a course is not reviewed. Then from this friend of mine, you bring in the employability of the university graduate. I am going to do that if you give me a few minutes. Did you know that every university in Uganda is supposed to operate with a charter?
Yeah.
Do you know who gives the charter?
National Council.
Those are the questions we should be answering. Two, did you know that every university has a curriculum?
Yeah.
Do you know who is responsible for curriculum development? Three, did you know before you go to class to teach, I teach at the university, you must, MUST in capital letters, you must teach according to the course outline. Do you know who makes that course outline? Four, do you know before you graduate, National Council for Higher Education must have you in their books, and that is by payment of 20,000 at the start of the university? True. Do you know in Uganda the highest course, the highest number of years someone can spend in a university is 7? But do you know that to re-accredit a course, it has to be 5 years? So what about the 2 years? Let us start. 1, National Council for Higher Education is mandated, my friend who knows the law will explain, by Act of Parliament to oversee, regulate and accredit university education. Are we together?
Yeah.
Now, it is the mandate of the National Council for Higher Education, and I'm questioning you to go and ask them, why do we have invalid courses who has not done his part? Is that clear?
Yeah.
2, curriculum development. It is quite unfortunate that we are talking about university curriculum. We should have started from primary. Actually, before we reach at the university, the student is already tired. Okay? The student is already tired. And we are lucky as Uganda because we have the population that is not exposed.
A few are exposed.
I am using the word, we have a population that is not exposed. So actually, a child is born, they got there nearby primary school, they got there nearby secondary school. The only exposure is that they are in boarding school. By the time you meet them at senior 6, they basically do not know that they are in an education system. There is, because they are at the receiving end. And they don't have a reason to ask, because that is what they are subjected to at the age of understanding, and the age of understanding is 7. Are you getting me? So by the time someone starts to understand at 7 years, they're already in boarding school, and they are subjected to a bell at 10, a bell at 1, a bell at 5, and it's tomorrow, the next day, the next day. Thanks to National Council for Education, I don't want to sound pathetic here. They have tried. They have a new curriculum. But now the question is implementation. We shall go there next time. 2, the course outline we have at the university can only be changed after an academic year. And did you know you only change 10%? You can only change 10%.
Who changes the 90%?
That is the policy.
Who changes the 90% then?
That is the policy, that you only have 10% to change in a
This
course.
world that is changing at every microsecond.
We are coming to that. If you are telling me that you are complaining, why? I would tell you, go and ask them why they said 10%. Maybe, let's not look at the general rule. Let's look at the exceptions to the general rule. Maybe it's for quality. Maybe National Council thinks if they give universities power to change the course outline the way they want, we might lose quality. But we need to touch into that 10%. And do universities actually change? Or you teach using the same course outline today, tomorrow, the next day, year in, year out. That even someone who left Makerere University, if I may use it, who left Makerere University 10 years ago can still tell you how the course outline is, and the person who was in primary that time is at the university using the same course outline. So, who is supposed to do what? When you're in a university, you are under a college or a faculty. That is the first unit of command in this process. Their role is to look at the course outline in their faculty board meetings, and they say, according to my understanding, human psychology should not be taught. Let's put human psychology in another course unit. They write to the University Council. In Makerere, for example, Senate. And it is the Senate's mandate to discuss it, and they push it to National Council for Higher Education. Now, National Council for Higher Education at liberty has a responsibility to write back. We have a thought that at the station of National Council, there are big people who know education. So they review. That's what they call course review. They review and they say, okay, Makerere, you can go ahead and remove human psychology from the course outline. So, my brother, that is how it is done.
Mr. Luke, do you think some stakeholders are not doing their responsibilities? He has mentioned how, the National Higher Council has to do some responsibilities of writing back and has some responsibilities to do, but then at the same time he has mentioned that some of these stakeholders that are supposed to support us and support the curriculum are not actually performing their job. Why do you think that is happening?
Yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful question. Unfortunately, my sister here posed something to the lecturers, and I think Martha herself, that you enter into a university and you're being taught by a lecturer who knows that the course expired or is invalid. Unfortunately,
They keep teaching.
yeah, they keep teaching. That's what Martha's complaint was. Unfortunately, to the lecturer himself or herself, depending on the capacity they may have, they may occupy at the university, they may not have the mandate. Okay? So I'm going to briefly explain this to our viewers and to everyone watching us. The issue of curriculum review, the issue of program review is a legal process. You had institutions prior to 2001. For example, MOBS was created in 1997, okay? And the merger came to up to 1998 of the faculties to create MOBS, okay? Then in 2001, you have the act creating the National Council for Higher Education, okay? And regulating universities, other tertiary institutions, and other degree and diploma and certificate awarding institutions, okay? And they have now a legal status, okay? Right from the National Council for Higher Education to the tertiary institutions, their mandate is actually streamlined and laid out in the acts, okay? Then they go ahead and they are mandated with the National Council for Higher Education with consultation with the ministry and the minister in charge of education and sports to make regulations. And then the universities themselves and the tertiary institutions themselves are to make policy guidelines, okay, on what is to be followed. Now, to look at all of this and look at, for me I would tell you things about liability, the rights of students, the liability of universities, but to understand that all big concept, you have to go back on who occupies which position, who has which mandate, and who is charged with which responsibility. Now, it starts from the college, okay? Colleges are established by the Act and the regulations, okay? And their mandate are laid out. They are supposed to, by law, call out a review, what my brother Lambert was talking about, the course outline review, after each year. After each and every academic year. Okay? Now, you know, we shall get, after giving you the background and the mandate, where all this emanates from, then we shall get to the liability and responsibility. Because you cannot understand the liability before knowing who is charged with which mandate. Now, the colleges have committees and boards. Each college or faculty or school has a college board, okay, that is charged with, you know, reviewing, calling upon these subject lecturer, department heads, and, you know, making a review of whatever they are teaching the students, okay?
How often does this happen?
It's supposed to, by law, and I'm saying by law, happen each and every year. Then after every 2 years, the Senate has to make a review from the recommendations of the college boards on the appropriateness, viability, and reliability of what is being taught. We have evolving, I personally may be lucky, and my friends in the legal fraternity and the legal student, the law students in universities may be lucky that we have a periodic review, because our laws are always evolving. You hear, even as we speak, there are laws that are being incubated in Parliament, and they are going to be passed out. For example, you heard of the popular anti-homosexuality law that was passed, okay? This is now going to be incorporated in the system as these guys are being taught at university, okay? So we are lucky that even when you're doing your examination, the lecturer shall not allow you to cite an amended or an outdated law. So you must be up to date as a student. But there are courses where this does not happen. So the poor student is at the peril of whether what is being taught is actually relevant, appropriate, and viable or not. Okay? And this is the mandate emanating from the college boards themselves. Then we go to the Senate committees.
Mr. Luke, before we go to the Senate committees, allow me to tell my viewers that we are at Onomo Hotel, where we are, of course, being hosted, and we believe that if you visited one time, you would enjoy their beautiful services. But before we continue this conversation, let's cut off for a commercial break. We'll be back.